Shedeur Sanders. Is he good? Is he bad? To say he's bad, well, I just don't want to do that. You know what I want to do? What I want to do is this. But as a guy that watched Andy Dalton play and believed that he could be the answer for too long, I know what it's like to dream. To have that franchise quarterback come in and save your franchise. Bring Carlos Dunlap and Reggie Nelson and Vontez Perfect and Domata Peko to the promised land. I know.
Bitch, you have Joe fucking Burrow.
But will we still have Trey Hendrickson? Oh, I don't know. Point being, it's nice to have a good quarterback that you can rely on, especially when you have good defensive talent, a la teams at the top of the draft, such as the Giants, the Jets, even the Browns at the number 2 spot. Personally, I also like a quarterback that isn't gooning at massage parlors. And by the way, that goes for my kickers too. I'm looking at you, AFC North. They have guys that can get the job done. If you look at a year ago, what Jim Schwartz did was fantastic with Myles Garrett, JOK, even, Denzel Ward and guys that stepped up in their secondary as well. So what I'm saying is that if you can get a guy that can maximize some of the talent on your team, it is a benefit. However, the number 2 spot is just too rich. For Shedeur to go to the Browns, I just think it's a bit much. We're putting too much pressure on a guy that, look, he could do it. He could, in theory. He may have the arm strength. He may have the accuracy. We schemed up a lot of things for him. And yeah, he was throwing to Jesus, okay? No, not that guy. No, wrong one again. There we go. What it's worth coming from a Jew. Happy Easter, y'all. But what I'm trying to say is that there's a lot of pressure that goes into this. When you are a quarterback picked highly in the draft, somebody even like Sam Darnold or Geno Smith, by the way, they're combining to earn a reported 180, this is true, kajillion dollars next year. And even guys like Trent Dilfer and 69-year-old Peyton Manning and even Nick Foles have won a Super Bowl. So quarterback success is a spectrum, right? Much like my sexuality. No, but what I'm getting at here is that the pressure doesn't always make diamonds, if you know what I'm saying. Baker Mayfield, a guy that I really liked coming out of college. He was picked number 1 overall, suffers a shoulder injury, has an off year, and then he's shit canned to Tampa Bay, where he's played great. I like these guys. I think Shedeur Sanders, if he's looked at the back of the first round, maybe early second, even a guy like Michael Penix last year, who was considered a reach at 8, he has a lot of talent. If Shedeur Sanders were to go to a spot like New Orleans at 9 with Kellen Moore, maybe Kamara gets going again, there's options, right? So take away some of that hate, some of that heat, right? Even if Derek Carr is able to come back from the shoulder injury early, we don't know what's going on there. If he's given the time to develop, right, he's going to be a good starter in this league. Okay, so buckle up, NFL, because for the next 15 years, you're going to be hearing about this guy. All right, so let's move on from blaming Lonzo from LeVar and look at the prospect for who he is and evaluate that type of talent. He threw for 4,100 yards last year, over 35 touchdowns, and just 10 picks. He makes good decisions. He does good things with the football. Yeah, maybe he needs to get it out a little bit quicker. Maybe he needs a little bit more pocket presence. But he played for one of the worst offensive lines in the FBS. I think if you get him into almost any situation other than maybe the Bengals, my team, and their offensive line, he can have a good rookie season, but more than likely, if he's given the chance to develop, say with the Steelers, if he gets to sit behind Aaron Rodgers and learn, this guy's going to be all right. So let's hold off on some of that hate and kind of try and evaluate the prospect just based on what he's put forth on tape. And I think you'll see a gem. So I like Shedeur Sanders. Thank you.